All right. Thank you everyone for attending this meeting. This is a meeting, a follow-up meeting for EnRoot Home Delivery LLC. EnRoot Home Delivery LLC is a company proposing a cannabis warehouse delivery service at 415 Blue Hill Ave. We have had community meetings in the past. We're having this meeting as in order to apply to the Cannabis Control Commission. There needs to be a meeting that has taken place within 6 months of the application. And our last meeting took place longer than 6 months ago. So this is an update meeting following the CCC procedures and protocols for hosting a community meeting in the city. So that being said, I'm going to go through the presentation and then I will open it up for questions once complete. Who we are. EnRoot Home Delivery Service is a locally owned, community conscious cannabis group to serve and benefit members of the community through financial success and social responsibility. The company itself has 5 owners, myself, Joanne Keith, Salman Chowdhury, Rokia Bigum, and James Finney. We're all Boston residents. We're all people of color. James Finney is and we're all equal owners. James Finney is a state certified economic empowerment applicant. Salman and Rokia are members of the Boston Equity Program, as well as the state social equity program. We have an investor model. The above investor, or what you see on the screen, this investor model is associated with our Rooted In brand, which is cannabis dispensaries. But we plan on launching that same investment model with EnRoot. The goal of the model, and it was successful with Rooted In, is to ensure that people of color have a seat at the table in this cannabis industry that is currently 95% white owned. That means that 5% of the cannabis industry, which is a $3 billion industry in the state of Massachusetts, is owned by Black, Latin, Asian, Indigenous people. So it's not enough. So what we wanted to do was create an opportunity for people who may not have the means by themselves, people who may not have the technical skills to start a business like this, the opportunity to be in this industry on the ground floor. So again, successful with our Newberry Street dispensary, which should be opening in the next month or so. And we hope to replicate that same success by bringing people of color into this industry via our investment model with EnRoot. Who we are and our experience, you can see here, our business partners own the Dudley Cafe right here in the heart of Nubian Square. They also own the Shanti Indian restaurants in Dorchester, Nubian Square, Roslindale, and Kendall Square in Cambridge. As well as you can see on the screen, 5+ years between all of us of planning and research in this cannabis space, as well as retail, luxury, as well as other regulated industries. So while cannabis is new to most people in Massachusetts as far as owning and operating a business, for us, we have a lot of parallel experience in very similar industries. So our proposal for Blue Hill Ave is to take the location at 415 Blue Hill Ave, which, as you see on the screen, is at the corner of Devon Street and Blue Hill Ave, and turn it into a cannabis warehouse. To be clear, no customers will be at this site. It'll just be employees and delivery vehicles. The specific vehicles, we'll get to that later in the presentation. The hours of operation will be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And this is just more information on the specific site. So 3,500 square feet, ground floor, 1,000 square feet, second floor. And we meet all the state requirements. And to be, again, clear, we actually have zoning approval for this site. We've successfully been granted relief by the Boston Zoning Board of Appeals to site cannabis here. And we also have a host community agreement, an HCA, from the Boston Cannabis Board. So this process has already been complete on the municipal side. But again, we're having this meeting in order to refresh the 6-month window between when we have a community meeting and when we apply to the CCC. And one correction, I said 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And then 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Sundays. We plan on hiring about 40 employees. Our goal is to hire Black, Brown, BIPOC, veterans, persons with disabilities, members of the LGBTQ community for roles at this warehouse, and we want to hire locally. Our goal in a perfect world would be for all of our employees to be individuals who walk from the surrounding Grove Hall area, walk right into our facility, work, and then walk back home. That's our goal, is to really hire from our community so that the jobs and the money and the benefits are going to members of our community. We'll have parking for all of our vehicles, delivery vehicles, as well as additional parking for employee vehicles as well. This is a look, and if there's any questions at the end, we can always blow these images up and make them larger. But this is a look of how our proposal for the space with a vault, a front area. This is fronting Blue Hill Ave. This is the corner of Blue Hill and Devon Street. And then right here, you can see the second floor that we're using for a dispatch area. Excuse me. On the exterior, you can see our proposed parking plan on the right side of the page. So these are our 8 parking spaces that we are currently planning to have. 3 of them being designated specifically for the delivery vehicles. And then again, this is just a visual of the exterior so that you can see the parking. One thing that we're doing in order to ensure that our impact on the area is as minimal as possible is we're planning an all-electric delivery fleet. So you can see here some examples of the vehicles we'll be using. When vehicles are on the road, they will have no signage. These images are just marketing material for the brand of vehicle. But our vehicles will either likely be a white vehicle or a black vehicle, something very nondescript, but there will be no signage that says en route or anything of that nature. But our goal is to have 0 emissions, 0 engine noise, so that we are as kind and has the least impact on the community as possible. This kind of goes over transportation, mainly for our employees, and how we hope for our employees to interact with the space. We have parking for them, and we won't do any deliveries along Blue Hill Ave. Everything will happen on our site. We're Security is a Black-owned local security firm who will be handling all the security from our site or at our site. Michael Weir, local gentleman. This is him right here on the right, next to the former police commissioner. Our goal is to have a safe, secure facility, so that again, there are as minimal impacts as possible on the community. You can see on this slide, I won't go through the entire slide, but you can see this isn't Mike Weir's first rodeo. He has a lot of experience with a lot of major operators, such as the Dimmick Center, Washington Park Mall, Foodies, Norfolk Hardware, and Dorchester. And then you can see his credentials on the slide. This is an image of our proposed security layout. So you can see the different cameras, motion detectors, vibration sensors, all things that we are including in our facility to ensure that it is completely secure. Our dispensary, which is smaller than this space, has about 65 cameras in it. So we believe in monitoring the entire space to ensure that we know where everything is and where everyone is at all given times. This is a slide just talks about our security systems and protocols. Again, I won't go through all of this verbally, but you can see it on the screen. And at the end of the presentation, if anyone wishes to go over this in greater detail, we can absolutely do that. Our good neighbor policy is focused, because we have no customers on site, our good neighbor policy is focused on our employees to ensure that our employees are always good neighbors to the community that has invited us to site here. So of course, safe driving, no smoking cigarettes in public areas, no illegal parking, no blocking driveways or kind of blocking driveways, nothing like that, no loitering outside the warehouse. You know, this is very important to us because, again, we want to always be good neighbors, and we want to work with the community to ensure that if there are items that are not listed in our Good Neighbor Pledge, that we hear from the community to hear different different items that should be added to the Good Neighbor Pledge, and violation of our employees of our Good Neighbor Pledge are grounds for termination. So we believe heavily in ensuring that we are not a cause of any issues in the neighborhood. And if it's coming from one of our employees, we want to work to ensure that those issues are remedied, or that that individual or those individuals are no longer employees. That being said, although we are strict and firm about ensuring that our employees are good neighbors, we also want to make sure that we're taking very, very, very good care of them. So we will be, one of the things that we're doing, where we'll be profit sharing based on the success of the location with our employees. So if the location is doing well, our employees are reaping the benefits of that success. Health benefits, dental, vision, paid paternal and maternal leave. We're doing a down payment assistance program modeled off of the City of Boston homeownership program, where we're creating a $50,000 bucket and 10 $5,000 down payment assistance grants for employees who qualify. And as I mentioned before, we have preference for who will be employed at the site. UFCW Local 1445 is a labor union that represents cannabis workers. They also represent workers such as Stop and Shop. We have signed a labor peace agreement with Local 1445. And, you know, once we're open at our dispensary, rooted in, we will not stand in the way of any union activity. And the same thing for EnRoot and Blue Hill Ave. If our employees wish to form a union, they will be able to do that with no disruption from ownership. On this slide, you'll see some of our commitments to Grove Hall. $100,000 to worthy causes in the surrounding area, with Grove Hall Main Streets agreeing to be the fiscal agent for those funds. We're also setting aside funds for a community benefits board, where we hope to work with members of the community to form that board. And then it will be up to that board to determine where those funds are allocated. And going back quickly to the investment opportunity, we want to ensure that members of the local Grove Hall community have the opportunity to benefit from it. So we've set aside 5% of that opportunity specifically for Grove Hall residents. You can see here the different outreach we've done. This says January 22 because we haven't updated the slide, but this was the last time we had, I believe the last time we had a community meeting, which is why our current one expired. But we've of course, been in touch with the mayor's office, Grove Hall Main Streets, direct abutters, the city council's office, the state rep office in the area, as well as UFCW Local 1445, and as well as countless other conversations that we've had with community members and stakeholders who are not represented on this slide. And now we're close to the end. This just talks about projected tax revenue for the city and the state. This 400K does not include any of the other benefits that we're creating, like the $100,000 fund, or the community benefits fund, or the down payment assistance. This is all taxes on sale of goods. 40 new jobs, 100% local of color run and operated, which is one of the major goals of the state legislation. And then you can see our DEI metrics here that we're committing to. So with that, I will stop sharing, but like I mentioned, we can go back to any of the slides if there are any specific questions.
I have a question. My name is James Williams. I have a business right around the corner from you guys. Now I've heard some time back that you guys were going to do this thing, but it seems like there's been a delay. What's been going on? Why has that not happened?
Yeah, so no delay. It's unfortunately just the process for our dispensary on Newberry Street. We started that in January of 2021, and we're likely going to be open December 2022. So it's almost 2 years. We think that this process will take about that same time. And right now we're in the state where we're submitting our application to the Cannabis Control Commission at the state. And we had to stop because of this community meeting. So we just are having this community meeting, and then we'll resubmit our application to the state, and then we'll have to go through construction. If you know the building, you know that there's a lot of construction that needs to be done on the building. It's probably about 4 to 5 months of just straight construction. And then, so we think that we'll be open sometime between, this is gonna be a long window, sometime between June and December of next year is when we plan on being open.
All right.
But the process unfortunately does take a long time. That's just how it is with cannabis, unfortunately.
Now, you mentioned a lot of numbers about the people of color that are going to be hired there. Now, I've seen a lot of other situations where people from other entities trying to do a cannabis business within this city, and they were backed by these majority-owned companies. And so once they get in the door, I mean, you can kind of do what you want, not do what you want to do, but you don't necessarily have to stick to these things. I mean, what assurances would one have that these numbers would be happening and that you would be that stringent in getting people of color or other disadvantaged folk from the community into these positions?
Yeah, so I'll give you 2 examples. One, they're actually both existing businesses. First is the Dudley Cafe. That's one of the businesses. So right now there's 5 owners of EnRoot. 3 of the 5 owners, myself, Joanne, and Rokia. Rokia is also one of the owners of the Dudley Cafe. And if you've ever been in there and you've seen the individuals who are working there,
yes, I have.
You know that they are representative of the community. So in that existing business, we're doing it already. Second business that I would say is Rooted In, which is our dispensary. Currently, we just actually brought on an additional 2 people today as managers. Our general manager is a person of Latin descent. our two assistant general managers. One is also Latin, one is Black. And our branding and marketing manager is a woman who's also Asian. And our director of finance is a woman who's white. So we talk the talk and we walk the walk. Yes, because we believe in doing what we say, and top to bottom, in our businesses, it's what we do. We believe in, bringing on people from disadvantaged communities. And that's what we've done. So you're right that people say they will and that they don't. We say we will, and we already have been doing it, and we want to continue doing it.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mary, I'm just going to call on people now since it's so quiet. Mary, do you have a question about our proposal?
No, this is Miriam with Council Flaherty's office, just here to listen in and take back any information to the counselor. But thank you.
Thank you. Z Haiti, I saw your message that you're a reporter from BU, but if you have any questions, happy to answer them for you.
Hey, Brian. That the only reason we're having this meeting this evening is to be compliant with the state process, which requires us to have a meeting within 6 months or so of we feel there. Do you hear me, Brian?
I can hear you. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted you to remind the folks that, this is not a meeting about permission. It's really a meeting about compliance. And what, okay.
Yeah, no, I've said that a few times, that the reason that we're having this meeting is is because we are now applying. We've completed our municipal process with the city of Boston. We've received our HCA from the Boston Cannabis Board. We've received zoning relief from the Boston Zoning Board of Appeals. And tonight, what we're doing is essentially refreshing our community meeting, because the CCC, the Cannabis Control Commission, requires that the community meeting be held within 6 months of the application. I don't remember when our last community meeting was, but it's been outside of 6 months. So we are having this conversation in order to refresh that that meeting, but also just to update the community on what's been going on. So I see a question from Zadie. So is this proposal to get these 2 locations for your business? So yes, so this proposal is for 415 Blue Hill Ave. It's for a cannabis courier, as well as a cannabis delivery operator, which is essentially a warehouse. So yes, with this license that the city of Boston granted, we'll be able to house cannabis at 415 Blue Hill Ave, and then use it as a distribution center for customers who place orders online, and we would then deliver those orders directly to their door. So that, I believe that answers your question. If not, please let me know. The next question, are you experiencing any difficulties with getting the permission? Not as of today. We've had several conversations late 2021, early 2022 with the community. We've been before the Boston Cannabis Board, and as I've mentioned, they did grant a host community agreement which is the agreement that a proponent comes into with the city or the municipality which they wish to cite. And then we also have to apply for zoning relief because cannabis is a conditional use in the city of Boston. And we were granted that relief. So as far as difficulties, we've completed the city of Boston process, and now we're moving on to the state of Massachusetts process with the Cannabis Control Commission. And the first step is to get our provisional license. And that's sending in a bunch of information about our proposal. And ensuring that we've completed all of the statutory steps that they're looking for in order to issue the provisional license. So the meeting was, I have heard that in Dartmouth, people are arguing with zoning board. They don't want agriculture territory to become a marijuana field. Sorry for the confusion, hope you get it. Yep, completely get it. So this is different in a way where all the products that come through our facility on Blue Hill Ave will be finished packaged products. So basically ready for sale. And as customers place orders, they would then be delivered directly to the customer's door. So for this location, no agriculture or anything like that. This is essentially a distribution center for a finished product. The meeting, we sent certified letters to abutters within 300 feet of the site. And we advertised in the local newspaper. And we also posted it with the city clerk at City Hall in Boston. Happy to answer. Thank you. Can we get a video record? I couldn't watch all the presentation. Absolutely. Yep, we can send over the presentation to you. If you would just leave your email, I can get that to you. Just put your email in the box and I can send that over to you. I'll post this to YouTube.
Hi, Brian, can I just ask, was the last meeting only this few people, or it seems like a very low amount of people here?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a small number of people. The last meeting that we had was a small number of people. The topic of that meeting was just the change of ownership percentages, not necessarily change of ownership, it was all the same people. And prior to that, we did have a very well-attended meeting. We did have a very well-attended meeting prior to that.
Was that all positive feedback?
It wasn't all positive feedback. There were some concerns from clergy. The Nation of Islam is near our facility in Grove Hall, and they were opposed to us citing there. And that was pretty much it. There was other clergy that were opposed to us citing there, but there was also a lot of support. I would call it overwhelming support from the city councilor, from State Rep Liz Miranda. We did get ample support for this project. Individuals, people who live on Devon Street, a lot of support.
Okay, thank you. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Thank you. I have to go to another meeting, but thank you.
No problem. Thank you for coming. Tell Counselor Flaherty that Brian and Joanne said hello.
I will. Thanks.
Thank you.
I will put my information in the chat if anybody needs anything, okay?
Thank you. The chat, excuse me, the recording will be going until about 7 o'clock. And then I will shut it down. As of right now, there's just us and a couple members of the community, but if there's no other questions, I'm going to mute my mic, mute my camera, but I'll be here. And then if there's any questions, just let me know and we can I can answer them. And if other people come on the call, I will redo the presentation. Thank you, Mary, got your info. But I am here if anyone has any questions.
All
Chat
right,
or
well, thank
verbally.
you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, James, for coming and thank you for your questions.
You're welcome.
All right, with that, I'm going to close the meeting. It's 6:59. It'll be turning 7 p.m. in one moment. And we haven't had any additional viewers join the call. So I will be ending the meeting now. And thank you to anyone watching, and thank you for all who attended.